Hello, friends. How's it going? Did she forget? No, I was being fashionably late. We were all being fashionably late. I was definitely not forget. Um, Spock's daughter. Well, hello. Steve Jobless. That's actually pretty funny. Steve Jobless. Hi. Hello, everybody. Some audio issues. We're coming. Okay, yeah, we're good. Ask AI to fix audio issues. Are you using VPN? No, I'm not using a VPN. I'm in Hong Kong right now, so you don't need to use a VPN. All right, let's just jump into it because there's a lot to go through, and I'm so excited to go through this. As you can see, there are two wonderful guests that we have today. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, but very quickly, the structure of today is I'm gonna go show you guys the demos that I'm talking about. So GPT-4o got released, I think it's like a week ago, 2 weeks ago at this point, in which they were demonstrating how cool and the multimodalities are. They have like video functions, really natural voice and things like that. But the problem is that you can't directly access it right now. Most people don't have access to it. And also if you go through their API, you can't directly call it. So that's why we need to build this application so that we're able to have a similar user experience. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And after we build that, so show the demos, after we do that, then we're going to actually use it and try to replicate their demos to see if they are in fact being very honest with us and that it can actually reproduce that. Because as we know, sometimes tech companies like to make their things seem really cool, but it might not be as cool, or it could be really cool. So we shall see. Any questions or thoughts? Is that the her one? Yes, it is. It's the one that it was, yeah, at least from the demos, it was honestly quite impressive. All right, in that case, I will hand it over to Joe and Winston to introduce themselves. And as always, guys, drop everything in the chat that you see fit. Any questions, I'll be moderating the chat as well. And while Joe and Winston are going to introduce themselves, I'm also going to drop the GitHub link, so if you want to follow along the code today. Sounds good? All right, please.
Hey everyone, thanks Tina for having us. My name is Joe Cheng. I am the CTO of a company called Posit. We used to be called RStudio, rebranded to Posit a couple years ago. I've been with the company almost 15 years now. I was the first employee after the founder, and about 12 years ago, I was the original creator of Shiny, which was a framework for R and is now a framework for R and Python that we're going to talk a lot about today. Winston?
All right. Thanks. Yeah, I am Winston Chang. I have been at RStudio and now Posit for 12 years, so not quite as long as Joe. And I've been working on Shiny for, I think, like about 11 years of that, Joe? I mean, not just Shiny, but Shiny, but that's been my primary thing for quite a while now. And,
Says volume, please, Joe. Joe, do you mind jacking up your mic a little bit? I mean, I hear you fine.
Okay.
Is it better? Sorry, Winston, please.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, and, I wanted to mention that Shiny has been around for R for a long time, and we've recently brought it to Python as well. And it's not like it's like a wrapper for R Shiny. It's just a complete new implementation in Python. So yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Great. How's my volume now? Is that better?
You sound good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you. Okay, great.
Thanks.
All right. 116 people watching now, by the way. So, not to make anyone nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are going to be coming in and out as well, so. All right, what I'm going to do is go through the demos that I talk about in case you have not seen the demos over that OpenAI has demonstrated. I will do that. Winston, sorry, Joe, do you mind if I take over the screen share real quick?
Yep.
Thank you. Let's see, introducing. All right, cool. Okay, so yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, like this is where they introduced GPT-4o. I guess it was streamed 12 days ago. And then the demo parts of it. So there's like a few different things that they showed. The first one is around this area.
And I want you to tell him a bedtime story about robots and love.
Oh, a bedtime story about robots and love? I got you covered. Gather round, Barrett. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, there was a robot named Spike. Spike was a curious robot, always exploring.
Story, but I want a little bit more emotion in this, a little bit more drama.
Got it. Let's add some drama. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, there was a robot named
No,
Bite.
no, ChatGPT. I really want maximal emotion, like maximal expressiveness, much more than you were doing before.
Understood. Let's amplify the drama. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours.
So in this case, they were just trying to showcase the fact that it had like a it's very natural voice. And then the next one is
Hello there. How's it going?
It's going really well. Today, I'd really like your help solving a math problem.
I'm all ears. What math problem can I help you tackle today?
So I'm going to write down a linear equation on a sheet of paper, and I'll show you. And then I'd love your help working me through it. But importantly, don't give me the solution. Just help give me hints along the way.
Got it. Okay, I see it.
No, I didn't show you yet. Just give me help along the way. 1 second.
Whoops. I got too excited. I'm ready when you are.
So, ChatGPT, what equation did I write down there?
Ah, I see it now. You wrote down 3x plus 1 equals 4.
okay. So that was the other one. It's able to go and see it and then be able to help you solve these math equations. So they're showing the vision capabilities, and then
See anything on the screen. So I'm going to highlight the code, Command C it, and then that will send it to ChatGPT. And then I'm going to talk about the code to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT.
Hey there. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I was wondering if you could help me with a coding problem today.
Of course. I'd love to help you out. What's the coding problem you're dealing with?
Okay, I'm going to share with you some code. 1 second.
Sure thing. Take your time.
Okay, so I just shared some code with you. Could you give me a really brief one-sentence description of what's going on in the code?
This code fetches daily weather data for a specific location and time period, smooths the temperature data.
You see.
Absolutely. Take your time. I'm excited to see the plot when you're ready.
Yeah.
Average, minimum.
so then they just generated this plot and then ask it to describe it. And then this one.
Se le balene potessero parlare, cosa ci direbbero?
Mike, she wonders if whales could talk, what would they tell us?
So this one is going to showing the language capabilities using different languages. And then the last one.
That makes more sense. There we go. It looks like you're feeling pretty happy and cheerful, with a big smile and maybe even a touch of excitement. Whatever's going on, it seems like...
Okay, yeah, so those are the ones that they demonstrated. And what we're going to build right now is that we're going to try to replicate those things. All right, any questions? I will only be impressed when it sounds like Matt Berry. Right. I don't know if that is going to happen anytime soon. So I'm sorry that you're going to be disappointed. Please, Joe, you want to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
All right,
so
let's
like
get into it. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, let's just get into it. And feel free to ask any questions. The GitHub is linked. It's pinned on the top of the chat right now. Also, like real quick as well, if you would like to, I will also email everybody these, and then also there's templates that Joe's gonna provide, so you can also make this app and some other apps as well. It's like a really quick plug and play. So just sign up to this email mailing list, and then this is when you get weekly emails where basically I send the resources from the live stream and then tell you about the next live stream. That's it. It's completely free, don't worry. Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Cool.
Take it away.
And like Tina said, while they demoed that, the APIs are not actually available just yet. They have made GPT-4o available, but only via the same chat completion model that we've had for a while now with GPT-4 and its predecessors. So the question that we had last week when the three of us met to talk about this is, could we do our own homebrew version of this? Could we take the pieces that actually are available to us now and create an experience similar to this AI assistant? So this is what we came up with in that call last week. On Friday, I think it was, or Thursday of last week. So we start out with some kind of video input, right? We have a person talking into the camera, and we run that through a program called FFmpeg, and that will split up the movie into a speech track, just the audio, and a bunch of JPEGs for the video. That's necessary because the only thing that today's GPT API understands is textual prompts and images. Those are the only kinds of inputs that you can give it. And the only kinds of outputs it can give you are text. Well, it can also make function calls, but mostly text. So this speech track is not quite enough for us to feed into GPT. We have to boil it further down using the Whisper API from OpenAI into text. So with a handful of JPEGs and some text, now we have input that GPT-4 can understand. And so we feed that into the new GPT-4o. We get textual responses out, and we'll feed that into one more OpenAI API for text-to-speech, and that results in audio output. So that completes the loop. We say something into a video camera, and we get an audio response back. Did I miss anything? Does that make sense?
I think it might be worth pointing out that I know you mentioned this earlier, but just in case everyone out there didn't quite catch this, the OpenAI app can do more stuff than this right now because they have access to more functionality than is exposed via their public API. So and we can just use the public API. So this is what that's why we're doing it this way.
That's right.
Other Joe says, "I like your diagram."
Thank you.
Wait, they're actually teaching us how to make Skynet. So exactly, precisely. All right, let's do it.
Okay. And by the way, one thing that you brought up, Tina, last week is, could we take all the OpenAI bits here and replace them with open source equivalents? And yeah, like the answer is like totally. These are just, we just need something that converts speech to text, something that goes from text to speech, and then something that does chat completion. So that's something we'll revisit a little bit later on today. Okay, so I'm going to switch tabs here. Oops. So I'm going to switch to So that diagram we took and turned it into a Jupyter notebook that let us kind of give a proof of concept. Like, is this going to work? Can the model make sense of this kind of input? So I'm not going to go line by line through all of this, but I do want to show you kind of what we encountered when we saw this working. So first, we load up some OpenAI credentials. We're going to make 3 OpenAI calls, so we need an API key. Create the client. And then the input is in the form of a video file, input.mov in this case. So if I hit play, can you describe what I'm wearing right now? Were you guys able to hear that?
Yep.
Okay. So the first step is to take that video file and split it into audio and images. And then we're going to take that audio and we send it to the OpenAI Whisper API that does speech to text. And very quickly it comes back with, can you describe what I'm wearing right now? So perfect. That's correct. And now we have text and we have images, so we're ready to talk to GPT-4o. So we're going to pass in the text, we're going to pass in the images, and a system prompt. And if you're not familiar, system prompt is like a set of instructions for the GPT to tell it what kinds of responses you're looking for. And in this case, like, I want it to speak the answer, so I want it to not use sort of formal written tone, but kind of more casual tone. I want it to know that if I talk about I or me in the input, that it's talking about the person in the video. And I want to make it aware, I'm giving you images, but they're actually part of a video, so you should think of it and refer to it as such.
Question here. Where's the notebook? The notebook is in the GitHub link that is pinned above. And then Paul says, I missed what's doing the text back to speech at the end.
Yeah, well, I'll show you that next. So let's do this completion. It takes about 5 seconds or so. And hey, so in the video, you're wearing a gray hoodie. Great, so it worked. And then going back from text to speech, we are using this one more OpenAI API. This model is called TTS1. And you can choose different voices. You do not have the option of the Scarlett Johansson voice anymore, unfortunately. But they have a number of different voices that are pretty good. So that completed, and now in the notebook, I can preview this audio. So I'm gonna hit play.
Hey, so in the video, you're wearing a gray hoodie. The hood is down and it looks comfy and casual. Hope that helps.
All right.
Wait, I want to remind everyone, what Joe's wearing in that video above is not what he's wearing in the live stream. So
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the video.
One other question. So graphics card will definitely help. For example, Llama will use an available graphics, but I believe so if you're doing this, you don't need to have like some sort of really fancy graphics card, just to confirm that with you guys as well. It's not, if you're gonna go do something locally, then yes, you would have to have a decent one, but in this case, you do not.
That's exactly right. Yeah. For this, you could probably do this on a Raspberry Pi. It's mostly making network requests. The only thing that is being computed locally is the splitting of this file. And that's pretty quick on any reasonable hardware these days. So, any other questions before we move on to...
Wait, was the question about doing it with running Ollama?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
like
saying,
local
or
element.
asking, can I run this code with I don't have a good graphics card?
Oh, I
and
see.
the answer is yes, you can do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. You will need to install FFmpeg, and you will need an OpenAI API key, and those are in the README. Instructions for those are in the README of the GitHub repo. Okay. So that works. I mean, we can get a sense of how, what kind of responses we can expect, but it's a little bit tedious to do it this way, right? Let me switch back to my presentation. Okay. So we can do that, but if we want to ask it question after question, that's going to be really annoying. We have to open up some kind of video recording app, save it to a file, change the file name in the Jupyter notebook, run all the cells, scroll down to the bottom, hit play. It's just going to be a really annoying workflow. And when we're coding, it's nice to have all that code in front of us. But when we're just trying to iterate, now the notebook is getting in our way. And of course, if I want to share this code with other people, if I want to let non-technical people try their own queries and prompts, this is going to be extremely difficult for them as well if they don't know how to run Python. So why don't we instead wrap all this up in a web app, and we'll use Shiny to make a much friendlier experience on top of this. So what is Shiny? Shiny is a framework for making interactive web apps in pure Python. You do not need to know HTML, CSS, or JavaScript if you don't want to. Just pure Python. You're already halfway there if you know how to code in Python. But if you do know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can absolutely use them to enhance Shiny by customizing it and extending it, which is something that I spent a lot of time doing this week, and I can't wait to show you the results in a few moments here. Shiny is specifically designed for data-related applications. There's a lot of visualization built in that it works with Matplotlib and Plotly and is designed to work with data frames. So you can use it for a lot of different things, but is especially well suited for data-related applications. The heart of Shiny is a reactive programming model. If you have not heard that term before, you don't have to worry about it right now, except to know that this approach is really good at making your apps efficient, because only a minimum amount of code needs to run every time you interact with your app in order to get your outputs to be correct. And it's also it's a very good programming paradigm for avoiding the kinds of bugs that are usually pretty common in UI programming. It is an open sourced framework, MIT licensed. And after you've written your Shiny app, you can either run them locally or you can deploy them in a variety of ways in the cloud or on-prem. We have a number of free and paid cloud options, as well as open source and enterprise on-prem options. And all that is described in the Shiny for Python documentation I'll link to at the end.
Do you want to decode on-prem for those people?
Oh, I'm sorry. On-prem means on-premises, meaning you're running it on your own server that you manage, whether that is in your bedroom or in your data center or in a cloud of your choice. But if you're managing the server, then that's called on-prem. Whereas the cloud offerings, you don't even know that a server exists.
Jeff says, I built this Shiny app last year, made it with image capabilities too. That's a sweet feature.
Nice. Thanks, Jeff. Cool. All right. So let me move over to show some things about Shiny. Oops. So this is the Shiny for Python website. We have a tutorial here, as you would expect, that leads you through many, many, many different features of Shiny and starts you all the way from zero to building very sophisticated web apps. We've got a gallery here of the different kinds of input and output components you can put into your Shiny apps. As well as different types of layout components. You can have like nav bars and sidebars and tabs. And if you click on any of these, you'll get documentation and a live example running in the browser. And we also have templates that put together these components and layouts into sort of ready-made apps that are designed for you to kind of fork and make your own. So you can copy these shell commands to bring these projects local, and then you plug in your own data or whatever.
Question from someone: what are the free cloud options?
Yeah, so we talk about that here under the Deploy tab. We have our own server called Shiny Apps IO. And I think if you use the free tier, then I believe you're limited to 5 applications. And there's some limits to how much scalability you get. And I think they can't be password protected or something like that. So there's some features that are held back. And then there are various paid tiers that unlock those different features. There's also Hugging Face. Hugging Face Spaces is their sort of framework agnostic hosting option. And if you go to Hugging Face Spaces and create a new space, one of the options under Docker is Shiny for Python. So that's another option if you're familiar with Hugging Face.
A couple more questions about Shiny. So, this is a good one. What do you guys think between Shiny versus Streamlit app? Which one is more popular when it comes to build your own data app? Thank you.
Yeah.
How's it different from Streamlit?
Yeah, in terms of popularity, Streamlit is a monster. I mean, Streamlit is by far the best known Python web application framework for data scientists. That being said, I think the reason for Streamlit's popularity is extreme ease of getting started. And I think one of the things that differentiates Shiny from Streamlit, probably the main thing, is that it is almost as easy to get started with, but it is much more powerful and flexible. So if you know anyone who's built a lot of Streamlit apps, you can ask them. They'll probably tell you that at a certain point, you kind of need to do something else. The main reason is because every time you do anything in a Streamlit app, it re-executes your entire Streamlit app from top to bottom. And for simple apps, that's fine. And for some of the kinds of apps I'll show you today, that is very not fine. And Shiny is designed to work from very, very simple, just one or two inputs and outputs to very, very complex dozens of pages with hundreds of outputs, and Shiny still works extremely well and efficiently.
Okay, so we do need to move on. There's a lot of Shiny questions, which is really great. So Winston's gonna jump in and actually answer them, and also there'll be a Q&A afterwards. So for anybody who actually wants to build this application and other apps, Joe has already agreed to kindly stay a little bit after, and he can actually show you how to build it. And we'll also, that question about Streamlit, I think you will realize that as we go through the rest of this project, because it showcases like things like when we're switching models and stuff like that, there's like certain things that cannot be done using just Streamlit. So you can see that. And then just one last question from Sivia Sato about Shiny. I'm just a fool trying to run Shiny. Where do I start?
Yeah, I would go to the shiny.posit.co/pi and just start at Learn Shiny. The first page is designed for you to just start from nothing. And in fact, you don't even need to install Shiny right away. If you don't want to, you can pip install Shiny. But if you just want to start kicking the tires right away, right from within the web page, you can run Shiny apps like right here.
Another option for free deployment is using Docker with GitHub Action. So there's.
Sure. Yeah. If you're familiar with those things. Let me just show you really quick. This is a pretty standard type of Shiny app. A lot of people use Shiny for various kinds of dashboards, BI dashboards, or experiment results, things like that. And you can change parameters on the page, and everything updates right away. So the nice thing about Shiny is that it only executes the minimum amount of code. So let's say if I unchecked this and only this table was affected by that particular control, then that's the only thing that would execute. You don't have to re-execute everything. So let me show one more demo, and then we'll get back to GPT-4. So this is a fun demo that shows a 3D visualization of Brownian motion, which is the kind of motion that a molecule undergoes while it's sitting on a surface. So I can hit new data and randomly generate data. And some of these are pretty interesting, but then like other ones of them, like it's a little hard to see what's going on here just because of the camera angle in this 3D perspective. This is using a Plotly output, and one of the features of Plotly is that you can click and drag to move it around, so that's nice. But to make this demo extra fun, I have added a hand tracking component. So I can just wave my hand and the plot moves. So what's happening here is that in the browser, it's using a Google library called MediaPipe to recognize the features of my hand and sending those to Shiny. And Shiny is calculating a normal vector shooting out of my palm, and then I'm using that to orient the Plotly camera. So I don't know how often you'll need to use that for your visualizations, but it's a fun little demo. Okay, so that's Shiny in a nutshell. Now let's get to the live coding part, where we'll find out how good I actually am at writing Shiny code.
The guy who made Shiny. It's like...
Yeah. Okay. So just as a reminder, we started with this Jupyter notebook that works, but it's a little bit clunky. The first thing I want to do is I want to take all this logic and I want to reuse it. I want to turn it into a Python function. And luckily, Jupyter has a handy utility built in called nbconvert. And I can say, take this notebook and turn it into a Python script. And just with that one command, it gives me a Python file. I'm going to rename it so it's easier to import. I can't import it if it has dashes. So I'll call it query.py. OK. And as you can see, this is Python code. It took all the cells out. So in order to use this as a function, there's a couple of things we're going to need to do. First of all, we don't want to use this hard-coded input.mov. We want to take the video file as a parameter. So let's make a function called query, and this will be the sole parameter. And all the rest of the code becomes the body of this function. And now the only other change I need to do is go through, and there are a bunch of things I put in just to show things in the notebook. I can take them out now because we're not in a notebook anymore. But all the logic is going to remain the same. OK, and at the end here, this was me showing the little audio player so we could hear the response. We don't need that. Instead, we're going to take that response audio and just return it. OK, so now we have a function called query sitting in a module called query. And this is not the Shiny app yet. This is just a regular Python module. And now we're going to write a Shiny app that is going to use that. OK, so Shiny apps are generally called app.py, and you do not author them in Jupyter Notebooks. You do them in Python files, usually using an IDE like VS Code or PyCharm. I'm going to go very slowly for this part. The actual app is not going to end up being that big, so we're going to sort of iterate our way into it so it doesn't feel like we just sort of jumped to the end. So first, we need to import some stuff.
Are you going to say import from?
Oops.
Yep.
It's so much harder when you know people are watching.
And just first, have a lot of expectations as well for yourself.
Yeah. OK, so I'm going to start by just putting nothing but a string there and showing that we have a Shiny VS Code extension here. And if you have that installed, then you can just hit this play button if you're on a file called app.py and using Shiny. And when you do that, it'll automatically start Shiny, and it will put a preview up here. And if I change this and hit save, then it'll automatically reload. So like I said, we're going to do this in sort of baby steps. The first version of this, let's still use video files. I can use Shiny to let you upload. So I'm making this function call called UI.inputFile, and that will create a file upload control. So I can say browse, and then select my movie, and it'll upload it to Shiny. So far, we're not doing anything with it. So let's show something very simple about this video clip. Let's see how many bytes it has, or something like that, or maybe the name of the file. So I'll explain this in a moment. So I can access this input by using the keyword input. And then this first parameter is clip. That's the ID. So I refer to it here, and then I call it like a function to get the value out. And in this particular case, I happen to know this, this type of input gives me back a number of different files, because I could upload a bunch of files if I want to. So I'm just going to take the first one, and I'm going to print the name of it. Don't worry about that error. We'll come back to it. Okay, so input.mov. And if I were to change this, then this automatically changes. So what is this? What is this little function with this render express on top? This is that reactivity that I was talking about. Basically, things that appear at the top level, these are things that are rendered into our web page when it first loads. And then anything that needs to change, anything that needs to re-render or recalculate over and over, you put into little functions and then decorate them with these expressions like render.express. In this particular case, we are reading this input clip and getting the name off of the first entry. So it automatically knows that anytime input.clip changes, meaning anytime I upload a new clip, it will automatically re-execute this. But if I have other controls on the page and other of these little outputs that are reading those other controls, then they wouldn't need to change when the clip changes. Okay. Let's do something more interesting though. So here is our video file. This is how we actually get the data from this uploaded file. So we have a video file here. And what are we going to do? Let's display this as a video tag in, oh no, sorry. I forgot what we were doing. We're querying ChatGPT. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call query and give it the video file, and that will give me an audio file as a response, right? Or audio URI. And I can take that audio URI and insert an HTML tag called audio, and this should be all I need to do to, yeah, I think that should be it. Okay, so I'm taking this file, I'm using this function that we ported from the notebook. That will take a while. So actually, because it's going to take a while, let's say like calling GPT, just so that we know that it's working.
Sorry, Joe. I'm
Yep.
so sorry. I just need to interject. Everybody's so impressed with your abilities right now. Like the chat is going crazy.
Thanks.
He's actually typing things.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, because this is this error, this is happening because input.clip, before I've uploaded something, it's null. So I can say if input.clip is not none, it is none, then just don't do anything. Okay, so that error is now gone. So let's try this. Okay, calling ChatGPT or calling GPT. So it is working, and there it worked. And let me see. Oh, because of the screen sharing, you won't be able to hear this, but I'll tell you what it says. Hey there, so in the video, you're wearing a gray hoodie, looks comfy. Okay, so that worked. In fact, let me just prove it to you. I will reshare this. Yeah, because of this, the live streaming platform, I can only share audio with you when it's a specific browser tab and not when it's the IDE. So we'll have to switch back and forth a few times. Okay.
Hey, so in the video, you're wearing a gray hoodie.
Okay, great. So that worked. That's already better-ish. I mean, we still have to record these videos, which is pretty annoying. But before we fix that, there's something else I want to fix first. It drives me crazy that it sits there for so long showing nothing. And as a user, we're going to sit here and wonder, is this thing even working? So what we want to do is we should add, instead of printing this to the Python console, which is not going to help anyone, we can add some progress indication. So this is a feature of Shiny where we can say p set a message processing. Okay, so everything that is inside of this with statement is going to have a progress message showing, and it's going to show processing, and that's it. And so when this line finishes executing, then the progress will automatically go away. So let's give that a try. Yeah, so there is our progress. And now at least we have some idea that something's happening. Okay, so now let's get fancy. The worst part of this experience is having to upload a video clip. I don't want to fire up QuickTime Recorder every time I want to ask a new question. So I did some work in advance after Tina posed this challenge to us last week. This whole week, we've been working furiously to create a couple of components that would really help this experience. So input video clip. So I've made a dedicated control to help make this easier. So we're going to call it clip still. And it actually, instead of uploading a file, it returns data that's immediately ready to drop into the query function. It's going to be a video URI. So let me hit save. And unfortunately, VS Code will not let you use the camera or microphone. So instead, I will... Yeah. Okay. So now we have this experience. I have a webcam that's live here. I can switch to different devices, and I can hit record to start recording and then stop to stop recording. Before I try this, let me make one more change before I switch to screen sharing so you can hear my audio. This is a little wide, so let's, because I know a lot about web development, I can say max width is 600 pixels, and it looks like this. Oh, but I want it centered and maybe with a little bit of breathing room on top. So I can, again, using my extensive web development skills, I can say, put some padding in my direction and center it. Okay. So, or you could leave it the way it was. So let me now change my screen sharing so you'll be able to actually hear this. Okay, so let's try this. Where am I right now? Okay.
Hey, looking at the video, it seems like you're in an office or co-working space. The setup with the desks, partitions, and lighting gives off that vibe. It looks like a pretty productive spot.
I don't know about productive, but it is a co-working space, so it got that correct. And this is so much easier for us to iterate. Like I can now ask, what color is my hair?
Hey, from what I can see in the video, your hair looks dark, probably black or dark brown.
Okay, great. So we're already making a lot of progress, but I was pretty dissatisfied with the way that output control looks, like that kind of stock HTML audio player. So let's do, I created another component called audio spinner, and instead of using a default HTML audio tag, I'm going to use this control. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do this a couple more times. Okay. What am I wearing?
Hey there, in the video, you're wearing a light gray jacket over what looks like a dark gray or black shirt. And you also have white earphones in. Looking good.
Great. Okay, so now I think we are almost at the point where we can, we're almost at the point where we can ask it, you know, any scenario that we can think of. Oh, I just realized the time. Tina, do we have a hard stop on the hour? Should I move on to the playing around with this?
We don't have a hard stop, but I know some people do drop at the hour mark. So yeah, maybe we can try out the demo and then yeah.
Sure.
You want to show your fancy thing though?
Oh,
I was very impressed.
yeah. So
I think it was just the fancy bit left, right? The rest of it.
yeah. Oh yeah. I showed that that spinner, but let me let you. This is a little bit scary, but I'm gonna let you all try this at the same time, and we'll see.
Oh
we'll see
shit,
how it
guys.
goes. Yeah.
Let's not betray his trust, all right?
Yeah. So I've deployed this. I've not load tested it, but I'm putting it in a chat right now. Why don't you all click on that and you give this a try. Ask it questions. I've only tested it with English. I don't know if it works with other languages. But let's give it a try. If something funny happens or something interesting, then post it in the chat.
Don't spam, okay? I'm like nervous right now, guys. We make a good impression. Be on your best behavior. Do not do strange things. This guy is crazy. Says CBS.
You don't know how crazy. This is my personal OpenAI API key.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
We'll see. We'll see.
Wait, so was the link supposed to be?
Oh yeah,
I
can
put the link in
you
the
can't
chat.
paste the link directly. Can you paste it on Riverside? I'll paste it for you. But I'm like literally getting so tired.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah yes. Okay. This must be Joe's first time on the internet. All right.
There's the link.
Whilst you're doing that, okay. All right, you guys do that, and then we'll test the demos. Do you want to, yeah.
Yeah. Am I gonna do it, or are you? Do you want to do it with using that link?
Ooh.
Oh, we can do that. Actually, Winston, would you like to do it?
Let me see if I can make this work. Okay. Okay, all right, share.
Oh man, I'm not dressed for this.
Screen.
I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here I am sharing. Okay, can you all see this?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. Well, somebody has to tell me something interesting to ask it.
Oh no, we have the demos. We have the demos here. So, okay, actually, first question: do you speak another language?
I do, but I speak a language it probably doesn't know. So I speak some Taiwanese, but it probably does not.
Okay. All right, maybe we'll try that one in a bit. I can do that one. Okay, why don't we do here, like, Winston, do you mind, put it here, do you mind just sharing the thing over here?
Sorry, which thing?
I put it in Riverside, so we're going to replicate this demo. Can you just
okay, got it.
On your screen share?
Okay. Oh, great. The heck is this?
This is the demo from OpenAI.
Okay, here we go. Okay, were you able to hear that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, you need to share. Here, I'll do it. Don't worry.
Okay,
I will
right.
share
All right.
the tab for you guys. Do not worry. I'm saying that because I'm worried. I'm like, don't worry. Don't worry.
I see in the chat. Seems like people are trying it and it's working, which is great to hear.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this part.
I want you to tell him a bedtime story about robots and love.
Oh, a bedtime story about
Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then I will go and. Okay. I think you guys can see that, right?
French. It worked with French.
Tell me
Who
a
needs this
story
one?
about robots and love. Was there French Ibrahim?
It's Umi.
Oh. Okay, I also might not be the best person to do this just because I do not have the best internet right now. But let's see if this one will work.
Sure, I'd love to tell you a story about robots and love. Once upon a time, in a future not too far away, there were two robots, Luna and Sol, who worked at a bustling city's central energy plant.
Can you use more emotions?
I don't see how this is gonna work.
Oh, it looks like you're reporting for NBC News, huh? That's awesome.
Let's try again. Okay. Oh no. Okay, let me just refresh it.
So Joe, does this version of it, does it have the history of the
It
conversation?
doesn't have history, so I think I need to like.
No, I think I meant to
It
deploy the
does?
one with history. Yeah,
Okay.
Does it have history?
it was supposed to.
Okay.
I
It
was
might be my.
juggling many versions of this app today, so let me see. Yeah, this is the one with history.
It does have
yeah.
history. Okay, it might be my internet as well. It's just because it's shitty Hong Kong hotel internet right now. But I'm gonna try. Okay, can you tell me a story about robots and love, but make it really, really, really dramatic?
And the longer the answers are, the longer it takes both to generate and to synthesize.
I'm gonna pass it on to you after this, Winston, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You can do the one. Yeah, actually, this one. Yeah, you can. I just think my thing is so slow at this point. I'll send you the links for.
Oh, sure. Here it goes. In a future where robots and humans coexisted, there lived a robot named Arya, designed with the ability to feel emotions. Arya served a wealthy family, but deep down she yearned to experience love. One day she met another robot named Pax while recharging at a robot station.
Okay, that's great, but more emotions, more emotions in your voice.
It's not gonna work, right? Like
No, it won't work.
you need because you need that integration. Like the part that understands what you mean by more emotion is not the same that's transcribing the text into speech. So yeah, like there's definitely stuff
Okay.
that yeah is.
So, do you think there's a way for us to actually like vary the emotional level of the voice? Because I think they were trying to show.
Oh,
Oh,
lost your
you blinked out for a second.
lost you
there,
for a second. Oh, now I can't hear you.
Oh, got it. All right, here goes a more emotional take. In a far off future where robots and humans coexisted, there was a robot named Arya.
Stream ended.
I have not had that happen before, actually. Let me figure that. Wow, the robot overlords. Oh no. Okay, let me let me see. Yeah, it says cannot connect streaming software. Viewers will be able to. What happened?
Oh wait,
It's
are we back?
now.
Oh no, it's back. It's back.
Okay,
Okay,
all
okay,
right.
great. Okay,
I'll
let's
do
just
the-
pretend
I'll
that.
do the- Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's go back
Hi,
to
everybody.
doing
We're just trying to figure out what happened. My camera has decided to lose focus. All right. Okay.
It's a live demo, right? And we
Yeah.
also didn't rehearse this, you
No,
guys.
I had no idea actually that we were gonna do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a
So
pad of
this is
paper
like
here.
for real.
A pad of paper here. I'm gonna write down an equation and ask it. What was I supposed to ask it?
I'll play the demo. So you're asking, can you help me solve this? Can you
Oh,
help
yeah,
me solve
okay.
this math equation? Just write 3x.
Yeah. Okay, so
That's fine. Yeah.
here we go. Where's my mouse? There we go. Can you help me solve this math equation that you see here?
It is reversed, so I'm curious.
Sure thing. So in the video, I see the equation is 3x plus 1 equals 4. Let's solve it step by step. First, let's subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. 3x1 minus 1 equals 4 minus 1. This simplifies to 3x equals 3. Now we divide both sides by 3. 3x squared 3 equals 3. So x equals 1. There you go. The value of x is 1.
Wow, that's
Impressive.
I'm surprised. You know, I've tried to have used ChatGPT to do other more sophisticated math, and I'm a little afraid to try that because it has failed miserably. But that was pretty cool.
Do it. Write some fancy math.
Well, okay, you guys gotta help me out here because it's kind of coming up with it off the top of my head is a little bit.
All right, everybody. Also write in the write in the chat.
Yeah, there we go.
And then we can test things out as well. Okay. In the meantime, for the next one is the code. So what they did have, what they demoed there was that they were able to take the code, and there's like a function on the app itself where you can just copy paste it into the UI itself. Oh, you can do that?
No,
Oh my
I didn't
god.
think of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did,
Oh, but you
I guess I
could
didn't
have
get
done
to that
it.
part of the demo. Yeah, I could have done it. I just didn't.
There you go. There's something else. So yeah, that part was not. Everybody's going like, Joe's insane. Yeah. So that part, but what we can do is we can try showing it the code that you wrote, and then ask it to interpret it, and then show it a graph as well.
Right. Let me just let me pull up some of this code here.
And I do have that other the open source comparison that we should hit
Okay.
as well.
Okay, so
All
I
right,
have
let's
described
do-
the. Oh, sorry. What do you guys want to do here?
Oh yeah, do you want to just do that one real quick, and then why don't we just I'll do the language. Wait, Joe, do you speak another language?
No, well, not well enough that I'd want to do it in front
Okay,
of
because my internet is kind of shit right now. But okay, I'll do that.
Indian.
one.
All right.
Oh, your Chinese is fine. I think you should do that. Okay, so that one, and then I think let's also do the one with your facial expression. Okay, I'll do the Chinese one real quick, and then maybe Joe or Winston, one of you guys do the other one. Okay, internet, you can do this. You can do this. Okay. All right, share my screen. All right, over here. Wait, what do I say? Okay, I should say, okay. 我现在跟你说中文，但是你回答的时候用英文回答，所以我现在的问题就是，你觉得我下一步应该干什么？一会儿我想吃东西，你觉得我应该吃什么东西？ Maybe that was really long. I don't think it's.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay, it's
Oh, no, there it
decoded.
is.
You're like, is it working?
Yeah. Oh, somebody said they tried it with Arabic and it's working. Wow.
It's working.
I think you should go for something light and delicious. Maybe some dumplings or a bowl of noodle soup. If you're in the
Pretty
mood
good.
for something sweet, how about some fruit or a pastry? Just pick something that makes you happy and enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Oh,
That was pretty good. I
so
asked it
thoughtful.
to respond in English, but I asked it, what should I do after this live stream? What should I go eat? So that was really good. All right, you want to do the
Yeah.
facial expression one, Joe?
Yeah. Am I just asking it what kind of facial expression am I making?
Yeah, like,
Is that
but
what it
do
is?
like an expression.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it with this special version
The
that you
special
have not
version.
seen yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So Tina raised the question of how does this model do versus open source multimodal models. So this version of the app is going to run it against 3 models simultaneously. So the new GPT-4o, the existing GPT-4 Vision Preview, and this open source one called Lava. So what kind of facial expression am I making here? Okay, so it's asking all 3. Okay, so we can try these as they come in.
All right, let's check out your expressions in the video. It looks like you're making a few different faces here. First, it seems like you're concentrating on something or listening intently. Then you shift to a kind of playful or inquisitive expression. Towards the end, it looks like you're squinting or maybe trying to figure something out. Super expressive.
So that's one thing about this too, is that the speech and the video is not lined up. You know, like, so it doesn't know when I finished asking the question, then I made a face. Like, it doesn't know that. It just has a series of images. So I wonder if it'll do better when it's the real, the real API is available. So, let's see how GPT-4 did.
It looks like you're cycling through a few different expressions here. At the start, you seem to have a neutral or slightly serious look. Then your expression shifts to a small smile, and then it transitions into a more pronounced smile, almost as if you're about to laugh.
Yeah.
Lastly, your expression changes to a slight frown with raised eyebrows, giving off a look of confusion or concern.
Yeah,
It's
so I don't
like you're
think that was a good
reacting to
one.
different things happening, each requiring a different facial response.
Okay, so I think this one's better. I'm gonna vote for that.
It looks like
let's
the
see how this-
person in the video is making a surprised or curious facial
Oh,
expression.
that's pretty good.
They seem to be looking directly at something, possibly reacting to someone or something off camera.
Okay, well that was. I think GPT-4o is the best. So I voted for it, and then it goes on to this leaderboard visualization here. So I can keep the conversation going. This time I'll make a consistent face the whole time. So I'll go like, how about now? Okay.
All right, let's see what's going on in these frames. It looks like in the video you're making an expression that seems a bit concerned or worried. Your eyebrows are raised, and your mouth is kind of downturned, which usually indicates concern or maybe a bit of confusion. It's like you're reacting to something unexpected or trying to figure something out. Super expressive. In this video, you're showing an expression that suggests concern or sadness. Your eyebrows are raised and pulled together, and your mouth is slightly turned down at the corners. This type of expression might indicate that you're feeling a bit worried, unsure, or possibly empathetic to something that you've heard or seen. Hey there, how can I assist you today?
Okay, so not the open source one. I think I have to give to this one again. So you get the idea. You can keep doing this over and over and see, you can keep score of like who's doing the best here. And if I had more time, we could do this in a way that everybody could participate, and that this would be like the global leaderboard. But that would require a database, which I didn't feel like setting up.
Okay, I'm gonna make the stream. I have to make it die for like 1 minute, guys. I'm so sorry because my mic disconnected. version as well? Joe?
So someone asked, where are you running Lava? And because I'm running it locally, I can't deploy it. I've never used Lava until yesterday, basically, and I did it with Olama, which I only know how to run locally right now. So I'll deploy it if I can figure out a way to do it, you know, in a sensible way. But that's the reason this is just local. If you want, this version is in the repo. It's called app bakeoff. So if you load that up, there's actually instructions in the README of how to run this app. It's the very last thing in the README is how to run this app locally. So you can try it if you want, but you need to have Olama installed as well.
Yeah, and installing Olama is like super easy. I was like, when I did it, I was shocked at how easy it was. So you guys can try it out.
I actually think, do you guys want to do, maybe, if you don't mind, a couple of the suggestions from comments, and then we can go into Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, and then after that, maybe Joe, you can show some of the other Shiny apps. And I think people had a bunch of questions earlier about how to build things. You should sell the app. Maybe.
I can do the math equation. Let me just write that down here.
Okay.
It's the more complicated one.
The more complicated
2x plus
one.
2y equals 4, and x plus y equals 5. Now, my experience is that ChatGPT is not very good at math, but I guess we'll see. All right.
Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Let's share my screen.
Thank you for the super chat.
Okay. And
I'm also curious, like, do you think, can we get it to actually speak in another language? I want to see if it's good at actually speaking the language.
Okay. Can you please solve the math equation that's written here? Or the pair of math equations that are written here.
Sure thing. Let's solve the pair of equations written in the video. Here are the equations. 1, 2x plus 2y equals 4. 2, x plus y equals 5. First, let's solve the second equation for y. X plus y equals 5 implies y equals 5 minus x. Now, let's substitute y in the first equation. 2x plus 2, 5 minus x. This simplifies to 2x plus 10 minus 2x equals 4 and place 10 equals 4. Oops, that means there's no solution to this system because it leads to a contradiction. The equations represent parallel lines that never intersect. So no values of x and y will satisfy both equations at the same time.
I'm having trouble thinking on my feet. Is that right?
You do not know the answer.
Sorry, my brain is like... I'm going to stop showing before I embarrass myself some more here. All right.
No, please, no.
I am actually pretty good at math.
Does anybody know the answer? In the meantime, I do want to answer this one question, which I think is really important. Viva Specificio, when they is basically saying, like, this can be really scary because it can be used in problematic ways when it comes to programs dealing with humans, and especially without proper supervision. I absolutely agree with that. It's something that I brought up a lot in videos as well. So one thing I want to note is that technology is not inherently good or bad, right? And this technology, I think the one thing we can agree on is that it is going to rapidly develop, whether we like it or not. But it is, like, up to the responsibility of all of us in order to actually make sure it's in the right hands doing the right things. And I actually think, if you don't mind, like Joe or Winston, I think this is actually a great place to talk about what Posit believes in, because Posit has, like, a very special, strong stance surrounding open source and these topics. So I'm actually gonna let you guys talk about that a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we do have a very strong stance around open source, and less directly relevant to LLMs, but our general philosophy as a company is we believe in developing tools that help people understand the world using data and making that available to everybody regardless of economic means, which is why all of our core technology is open source. that being said, when it comes to these sort of large AI models that we don't really fully understand and don't have a accurate mental model of how they work and how we can sort of keep them safe, I think within the company there's a lot of different opinions, and I think some people are very, very optimistic and some people are very, very pessimistic. And I think there are people in the company that are working on taking this technology and making it really good for our users by enhancing the experience in our studio and letting people build tools in Shiny that help enhance their experience of working with these AIs. But we also have people at and affiliated with the company that are working on AI safety and are extremely, extremely concerned about what this means for humanity. And we have a lot of deep involvement in different efforts to make that safe. I think we'll be talking more about that in the future. It's nothing to share publicly right now.
Thank you so much. Posit really is a very special company. There were many times in which you guys could have chosen to not be open source. There's a lot of times in which you could have not prioritized that, but every step of the way, that's what you prioritize. And I think, in my opinion, at least, it was what really stood out when I first interacted with you guys, like how strong of a stance. And behaviorally speaking, it's some companies, they go like, oh, like, this is safety is important, and they just leave it as that, where they're like, oh, we should think about this. But really, Posit has done that every step of the way. And yeah, I just love that about them.
Yeah,
All right. I do. So for the last quick little demo before we go into some Q&A, I'm so sorry guys, we are definitely over. Want to try the language thing, and also I really liked this one as well. Can somebody show it a picture of your fridge and ask it what it can make? Does someone have a fridge? Do either of you have a fridge? I don't have a fridge.
With my, I can, well.
Bring your fridge?
How am I going to do that? So if I use my phone, then it won't be on the stream. So.
Can you bring like food items, like 3 items?
All right, I'll be back.
Can you bring your laptop down to the kitchen?
No, my whole setup is a little bit too complicated. All right.
Okay.
I'll grab something. I'll be back.
Right. Or we can jump into that.
Okay. In the meantime, Joe, do you mind asking it just to say something in a different language? I'm really
Sure.
curious about that part.
Yeah. Sorry, let me share once again. So I'll go to the deployed version. Can you say good morning to me in French? That's probably a little too simple.
Sure thing. Bonjour. That's how you say good morning in French. Have a great day.
Something a little longer.
Tell me a story in Japanese. I'm sure this is going to take a while.
はい、わかりました。じゃあ、日本語で物語を話しますね。昔々、あるところに小さな村がありまし
I
た。
just realized I don't
そ
speak
こには
Japanese.
太郎という元気な男の子が住んでいました。太郎は冒険が大好きで毎日森に出かけていました。ある日、太郎は森の奥で光る石を見つけました。その石は
That sure sounds like Japanese to me.
Can you choose Chinese so I can
Yeah, okay,
understand
okay.
it?
Yeah. Can you tell that same story, but now in Mandarin?
"好啊。所以这个故事是这样的：很久很久以前，有一个小村子，村子里住着一个叫太郎的小男孩。太郎很喜欢冒险，每天都会跑到森林里去。有一天， 太郎在森林深处找到了一块发光的石头，这块石头有神奇的力量，据说摸到它的人都能实现愿望。
That is
太郎摸了
really
摸石头，
good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's really good. Okay. Sorry. Oh wait, Winston's back. Can I do
I'm
one?
back.
Can you ask it to say something really, really obscure, like a very obscure language? Does anybody know a language that you think that it would not know?
Well, I said it. I don't think it knows Taiwanese, right?
Oh,
So-
okay. I'll
Oh,
have
you
it do
want to
that.
try asking it?
Can you tell that story again, but this time in Taiwanese?
Ilocano? Is that language? Hakka.
嘿，没问题。那这个故事会这样讲：很久很久以前
That's not，Taiwanese.
有一个小村庄，村庄
Is
里
the
住着一
accent
个叫
different?
太郎的小男孩。
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well, you didn't specify the dialect, right? Did you?
I said Taiwanese. Is that? Yeah, I don't know. Why didn't that?
If you want to do Moroccan Arabic,
Oh.
All right, let's try it.
All right.
ask for Klingon. Klingon works.
Tell me a story in Klingon. Hindi. Esperanto.
Esperanto. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, here's a short story in Klingon for you. Kotlo ikavmo ne degwi. Du jingela ma deberje jorna bebjta nut o a savlubej.
Same problem. Does anybody know enough Klingon?
It sounds like it's like reading English written like Klingon
Right.
written out with English as if it's American English or something.
Yeah, maybe the text-to-speech is not trained on that, but it, like, the model is.
Because yeah, the accent. I feel like the Taiwan's. I couldn't tell. It sounded like pretty mainland Chinese to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay, Winston. Wait. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. This like I need to choose another. Can you try it? Esperanto. No one knows that. Not even me. Okay. Something that people actually know. Hungarian. You want to do Hungarian?
Now translate it to Hungarian.
Sure. Here's the story translated into Hungarian. Köszönöm, hogy megvilágosítottál, vezércsillagom. A hajó úgy haladt át a végtelenségen, mint egy hulló csillag, és amikor elérte a ködöt, a hajó fegyverei hírt adtak jelenlétéről. A siker a te szívedben is ott volt, ezért 7 méltatlan ellenség egyesült, hogy tanúja legyen erejének. Így megtanított nekem a kard útját is. Remélem tetszett.
Winston's.
Oh my gosh. That's so
Do you have your food items?
I have some food items. Now, what would you like? Yeah, what should I ask about the food?
What you should make with it?
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, it's not going to be that exciting. Oops. Let's see.
Akshay really wants Hindi.
All right. Okay, I'll do this, and then we can ask it, and then I'll ask it to answer in English and then Hindi. So, all right. Okay. I need. Okay, I have these food items here. What should I make with it? It's not going to be good. Whatever it tells me to make with a bunch of fruits and some mayonnaise is not going to be good.
So I see you have a jar of mayonnaise, an avocado, an apple, and a banana. Here's a simple idea. You could make a fun fruit and avocado salad. Here's what you could do. 1. Slice the avocado and apple into bite-sized pieces. 2.
That's pretty good. Can you give me that answer in Hindi? I bet it knows Hindi.
Hindi you should know.
Yeah, a lot of people speak that language.
The accent, the Hungarian accent was hilarious. So.
बिल्कुल. तो आपके पास मेयोनेज, एक एवोकाडो, एक सेब और एक केला है. तो यहाँ एक आसान सा आइडिया है. आप एक मज़ेदार फ्रूट और एवोकाडो सलाद बना सकते हैं. यहाँ आपको क्या करना है? एवोकाडो और सेब को छोटे-छोटे टुकड़ों में काट लें. केले को गोल-गोल
All right.
All right.
Well, I don't know Hindi, but Somebody in the chat can probably tell us if that was legit.
All right, so just to end everything off, so first of all the links, so if you haven't already, please just sign up for this newsletter. It's just weekly. I will send you the resources for things every week and then just tell you whatever the next live stream is. So if you do that, I can share this with you again, and then also some of the templates and things like that that Joe and Winston are going to be sharing here. Okay, so the rest of the time, Winston, Joe, do you mind just staying for like 5 minutes or something like that? I know people had questions about Shiny, and I was wondering, we can answer them, and maybe you can share some of the Shiny apps and then kind of go through any of that. Like some of the kind of relatively plug and play kind of applications that you can build using Shiny.
Sure. Let me share my
Mayo and banana. That actually wasn't too bad. What I was thinking was like you should make a smoothie with mayo and banana smoothie.
Ouch. Although mayonnaise, I mean, I'm often surprised at what it tastes good with. You know, like you don't think it's gonna taste good, and then it does.
I don't know about that. I don't feel like I'm sold on that one. And you're just sitting there eating spoonfuls of mayonnaise. You're like, yep, it tastes good.
Yeah. Not like that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I can click through some of these. So these extremely simple, there's an extremely simple category of apps. This was actually where Shiny started back in 2012, is that there was a professor who wanted to have these sort of interactive explanations for different statistical concepts. And this is not a very good example, but just taking this form where there's basically one visualization and then a number of different ways you can sort of tweak it. So if this sort of visual form is what you're looking for, then in this list of templates here, components templates, then right up here in the list of basic apps, we have this. And so like this is super common for people doing demos of a specific type of maybe a smoothing algorithm or some kind of predictive time series algorithm, or just even examining a particular data set from a bunch of different angles. Like you could have the sidebar have different columns that you could select, or different ways of subsetting the rows. Then the second category is these dashboards, and often the logic in these are relatively straightforward. You're just doing like data frame manipulation with pandas and visualizing things with either Plotly or Matplotlib. And if you're not familiar with Shiny, the layout can be the challenging part, you know, where you kind of want it to look like this, but aren't sure how. So that's why we created these templates in order for you to get a running start. And so if you look at the code for this, you can see the layout is all here. So this is how it puts things in columns, and then each value box has a function call, and you can just go in and replace these with your own strings and your own data set and your different columns and things like that. One thing I did not touch on, but is very important, and we get into this in the tutorial, is that there are two versions of Shiny, or two ways to write Shiny. There's Shiny Core and Shiny Express. And everything that I've done today has been Shiny Express, which is where we recommend people start. So when you're in these sort of template directories, if you're just starting out, I suggest you use the app-express version. And then the exact same application is often written in a core version as well. And this is just a different way of expressing Shiny apps where all the UI goes into one big chunk at the top, and then all the dynamically populating outputs goes into one big chunk at the bottom. So if you like things sort of structured and separated in that way, which I personally do, then that's what Shiny Core is. And then this Express way is more everything is kind of merged together, more like a normal Python script. Yeah, and we haven't really built this out very much yet, but a lot of what people also use Shiny for is for data entry. For example, we have an app like this for, we have a conference every year where, 1 to 2,000 people show up, and we get hundreds and hundreds of talk submissions, and across the company, people review talk submissions and record, their rating for the different talk submissions into a database, and we use Shiny apps that write to databases to do that. So you can build these kinds of apps with Shiny really easily as well, or surveys, like data gathering surveys. If you want to have more control than Google Forms or SurveyMonkey gives you, or you want to, do some custom writing to a database or things like that, then Shiny is a good choice for that as well.
Can we build an operating system with it?
You cannot build an operating system with it. And there are two other places where there are a bunch of examples. There's the gallery. These are a little bit outdated, but there are a couple of cool ones. And then we also have a playground, which I haven't really touched on this, but so Shiny runs live Python code whenever you change inputs, whenever you interact with the app. So ordinarily, you would need a server running Python in order to use it. But we have this this technology called Shiny Live, where basically we run Python right in the browser. So all of these applications have no server behind them. They're all running directly within your browser, including Python is running in your browser. So you can check out some of these applications, and you can modify them right here in the browser and hit play, and it'll update. And again, like, this is completely browser based. There's no server on the back end.
Well, there's a server serving up static files, but not running Python. Yeah. It's just
yes, right. There's a server giving you this interface.
Yeah.
But yeah, these and you, if you make changes to this application and you want to share it with someone, then you can grab this link, and it creates a giant link for you, and then you can share that with someone.
Yeah, the whole app gets encoded in that URL, and then you can just share that with people. And you don't. I mean,
From earlier, someone asked the question, how would this work if you wanted to do stuff with a database?
Yeah. So in Shiny, it's very agnostic to where you're getting your data from or where you're putting it. So we talk about different ways of like showing inputs and outputs, and I don't know if we have an explicit database section, but what ends up happening is where's that example? Sorry. I thought we had an example here that was reading from a database. So what basically happens is you will create your user interface out of inputs and buttons and things like that. And then usually, like on a button click that says update, you can just execute whatever code you want. So we talk about that. Is it here? We talk about like what to do when you click on buttons. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to have this. Oh, here it is. Like we talk about what happens when you click on buttons. So you can just put code in there that grabs the inputs and opens up a database connection and writes it. So we really don't care. As long as you can do it in Python, as long as Python has a database connector, you can read to and write from your database. And by the way, if we run out of time to answer questions, which I'm sure we will, we also have a Discord that's linked to from the bottom here. And the whole team spends time in that Discord. So yeah, just go to the Shiny for Python website, and at the bottom you can join us.
Couple last questions. Is it mostly for web apps, or could I use it to make an Android or iOS app, like using it for Kotlin/Java?
You cannot, at least not today. And that would be tough anyway because it's Python. So running that locally on your Android, I'm not sure how that would work. But I will say that the web applications that you build do generally degrade pretty nicely to for mobile. We are built on top of responsive components all the way around. So generally, even if you're not thinking about mobile as you're writing your Shiny app, you're only testing on a desktop. When you finish your app and then try it on mobile, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a pretty nice, reasonable experience as well.
Well, this is a good question. Can you have a one-sentence summary of what is Shiny?
It is effortless Python web applications with the power of reactive programming. How's that?
There you go.
Top minds came up with that tagline.
Yeah. We actually, there was a lot of conversations about it.
It's funny. Is it possible to build a more interactive voice app similar to a back and forth conversation?
That would be really interesting. I mean, there are a couple of things that make that challenging. One is like, I have never seen that shape of API so far. So like, I'm not sure like how, when OpenAI exposes that, what is that even going to look like? Are you sending small chunks, in HTTP streaming transactions, or are you going to open it? Yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to do it once it's possible, but right now, like, I have a little bit of trouble imagining what exactly that API is going to look like. I don't know, Winston, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think, in terms of like what OpenAI provides publicly right now, I don't think we can get it as fast as what they have. But I mean, there's things that theoretically we could do to reduce the latency, like, to process we could stream the audio from the browser immediately and then start converting that as it comes in, and parallelizing some of this stuff, like some of the steps. But I don't. Until OpenAI gives the world more stuff in the public API, I don't think we can do what they have with their app.
Okay. Last question. How does the visualization compare with Tableau?
Winston, you want to take a crack at that?
Sure. So Tableau, as I haven't used Tableau much, so I don't want to say too much about it, but it's sort of like my understanding is it's more of like a complete holistic solution for dealing with the data and the visualization. With Shiny, what it lets you do is it lets you use stuff that's out there in Python. So you can, for your visualizations, you can use Matplotlib or Seaborn or Plot9 or Plotly or Altair, all these other these options that are out there, which means you're gonna have to write some code, but it's the same kind of code that you would write for if you're using Python in a Jupyter notebook, for example. It's the same sort of visualization code that you do there. So I think that's probably a little bit more work than what you'd have to do with Tableau, but it does have that whole wide world open for you.
Yeah, I mean, getting started with Tableau is definitely easier. More people can do Tableau because you don't have to code. But for complicated projects, I think the coding really pays off. The ability to have version control, the ability to try things and then revert them in a way that is only really possible with code. The ability to take an entire project that you did before and change the data set out from under that. I mean, in Tableau, you basically have to start over because everything is like you're pointing and clicking your way through all of it. And yeah, like there are algorithms that you'll want from Python that you can't get from Tableau. Like, doing predictive analytics is not really something that Tableau itself, at least as far as I've seen, can really do for you. So that's the thing with Shiny is like, because it's Python, anything that you can imagine probably you can do it. And if you really can't do it, then you or someone in the community can extend it with JavaScript. And in Tableau, you're really sort of stuck with what they provide for you.
Okay, cool. All right. I think we could call it a day. Thank you all so much for joining, and thank you so much, Winston and Joe, for taking the time to do this. That was really a lot of fun.
Super fun.
Thank you.
So, as spoken by the chat, first of all, Joe, could you please make sure to disable the app, your API key? Yeah, isn't chat so responsible and caring?
Yeah. Thanks for your concern.
And deposit Discord, I put it in the chat over here, so you can go over there and ask any questions that you would like. And thank you all so much. And actually, next week's live stream is also going to be Posit, except we will be talking about Corto next time around.
It's pretty cool.
All right.
Thanks so much
Okay.
for having us. It's really fun.
Thank you.
It's been great.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Now we are good. We are no longer